This video is specially for you if you are a part-time worker or an international student. In this video, I'm going to answer three of your major questions, including: do your paid holidays count toward working hours? Question number two is: do your paid holidays are taxable? And finally, question number three is: how to calculate holiday entitlement? And to answer third question, I'm going to guide step-by-step calculation process how holiday entitlement work or calculated. The part-time holiday entitlement can really be confusing, but there is a simple calculation. It's just knowing the calculation, knowing the decision you got to make, and then you can work through it for any part-time worker. So without a further ado, let's get started. So the first question is: do your paid holidays count toward your working hours? I know all of the international students here in the UK are only allowed to work 20 hours per week because of visa restrictions. And when it comes to paid holidays, students are seriously confused whether paid holidays count toward their working hours. So the answer to your first question is no. Your paid holidays are not count toward your working hours because paid holidays are statutory entitlement and typically do not count toward 20 hours since they are considered as rest time instead of active time. Before going into the next question, just a quick reminder please. I recently uploaded 5 videos for international students in which I explain number of topics, including when you come to the UK as an international student, what taxes and deductions you must take care of. In the second video, I explained over 7 tax codes which are crucial for international students, including emergency tax code. Plus, I also explained how change in your personal circumstances will affect your tax code. In third video, I explained you as an international student whether or not do a business in the UK. What if you have a foreign income and you come to the UK? What will happen to it? This is what I explained in my fourth video. And finally, in my fifth video, I answered over 34 questions. All of these were collected from international students, including: can I open a limited company? Can I sell homemade product during my student visa? Can I do Uber Eat during my student visa? And many more. I would request you to watch these. I believe these will add value to you. So coming back to the main video, the first question we covered was: do your paid holidays count toward your working hours? And now the second question we are going to cover is: do your paid holidays are taxable? And answer to your question is yes. Paid holidays are considered as taxable income and are liable for an income tax and national insurance contribution. Let's have a demonstration. On the screen, you can see a pay slip where I have calculated the income tax liability based on an annual salary of 36,000. With this salary, the annual income tax amount to £4,684. Now, let's add an annual holiday payment of 1,676.71. This increases the total taxable income to 37,676.71, resulting in a higher income tax of £5,019.40, an increase from £4,684. Next, I took the same base salary of 36,000 and added the holiday payment of 2,353.85. This raises the total annual taxable income to 38,353.85, further increasing income tax to 5,154.80. This was the second question, and we incorporate holiday payment to understand and to demonstrate that indeed holiday payment is a taxable payment. You might be wondering where these holiday payment figures come from. Don't worry, I will calculate and explain this in detail when we tackle question 3 later in the video. And finally, the third question is how to calculate holiday entitlement for part-time workers. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, are you going to calculate holiday entitlement in hours or in days? If you are working same days every week, then it's best to calculate in days. So let's say if you work Monday to Tuesday 9 to 5 each day, it's straightforward and it will make your and your employer life easy. If however you work 4 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours on Thursday, and then we will calculate holidays in hours. The reason is your days vary in length and therefore you need to deduct your holidays from your working hours because it will impact which days are you taking your holidays. The next thing you need to know is, are we going to calculate holidays including bank holidays or excluding bank holidays? Now quite often we do full-time entitlement with bank holidays excluded because we know that if they work Monday to Friday and we are closed on bank holidays and they are always going to take those days off. So it's easier to say you got these days to take plus you get the bank holidays on top of that. With part-timers, it's not always the case. So the bank holidays will fall on the day they normally work, and we need to make sure they get the equivalent holidays as full-time worker. So my preference would always be to start the calculations with the bank holidays included. This also means that if you don't close on bank holiday, the bank holidays are normal working days for you, then this calculation also works for you. So our starting point is, what is full-time entitlement and what is our full-time employees are getting. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to take statutory minimum requirement, which is 5.6 weeks, and that's 28 days per year for somebody working 5 days a week, and this includes 20 statutory holidays plus 8 bank holidays. So if we got a part-time person, and I am going to do this in days and then in hours. So we have got somebody, let's say, who works 3 days a week, so that the normal week, so we would quite simply times 3 with 5.8, and that's give us 16.8 full year entitlement. So just a note of this rounding a point, we cannot round down because if we do so, then we are going to fall below the statutory requirement holiday entitlement, because that's our starting point. We can keep it exactly as it is and let them work out how they take that 0.8 days, or we can round up to 17 days. So we will give you a rounded up to 17 days statutory holidays per year. So before going into the hours calculation, let's have a demonstration how holiday pay will be calculated. On your screen, you can see I take 3,000 salary per month, which equates to 36,000 pound per year. Now, for the annual working days, some employers take 365 and some take 260 days, but it totally down to each employer policy. The reason is it will increase or reduce your holiday pay, but we will see both calculations. So annual salary of 36,000 pound divided by annual 365 days will give us daily rate of 98.65. As we have already calculated annual holiday entitlement of 17 days, which we will multiply with daily rate, which will give us annual total holiday pay entitlement of 1676.71. Let's take 260 annual working days. So our daily rate will be 138.46 pence, which we will multiply with our annual holiday entitlement of 17 days, which gives us annual holiday pay of 2,353.85. If you remember, these calculations we took in our second question to prove that holiday pay is taxable. Now, coming back to second part of the question, what if you are working hourly, and how are you going to calculate your holiday entitlement in hours? The same calculations applies when we calculate in hours. So let's say somebody works 21 hours a week. A full-time entitlement is 5.6 weeks. So we will do 21 hours times 5.6 weeks, and that's give us 117.6 hours. And again, we may round it up to 118 hours just to make it easier for both employees and employer to manage how they take their time off. Now, on your screen, you can see I have calculated total annual working hours by multiplying 21 hours per week with total 52 weeks per year. It gives us 1092 total annual hours. Let's just say hourly rate is 13 pound. Annual holiday entitlement in hours we have already calculated, which are 118 hours per year. Now simply multiply per hour rate with annual holiday entitlement. It gives us total holiday pay, which is 1534 pound. Now, recalling, we included bank holidays in this. Next part is for employers. If you are a business that closes on bank holiday and makes people take that time off, the next step you would take would be to say which bank holidays fall on that person normal working days, and therefore we are going to make them take that as holiday, and we deduct that from their full-time holiday entitlement. So let's say we have got 17 days entitlement for somebody that works Monday to Wednesday. Let's say that 5 of the bank holidays fall on their normal working days, and therefore we are going to deduct 5 from 17 holidays, leaving them 12 days to take as, and when they want to take it in line with your normal holiday rules, and apply the same holiday rules to part-time workers as you would do to the full-time workers. Now there is a possibility of slight variance with part-time workers here with bank holidays. So for example, if bank holiday is busy time for you, you might decide to, instead of making them to take the bank holiday, we will get them to move their hours and work different days a week. And this is particularly relevant if you have got somebody who varies their weeks. So they work different days on different weeks. They may find that they just do the same number of hours but on different days, and therefore bank holidays don't need to be taken. But all these things should be decided at the beginning of the holiday year before you start talking to people about their holidays allocations, so they can plan around it, and you know that their entitlements are and what holidays they need to take. And just on the quick note on the holiday pay in it itself is complex and worthy of whole to itself. But fundamentally the rules, if somebody is working regular hours with regular pay, so they work the same hours every week, they get paid for those hours, nothing else than their holidays are going to their normal pay. They are continuing to be paid as if they were at work. So if you have got somebody whose hours of work vary, so let's say they have got overtime and therefore some weeks or more hours, or their pay varies, for example a commission schemes that get paid in addition to their hourly rate, then their holiday entitlement is going to be at an average at their previous 52 weeks of earnings. This is to ensure that they are not making any loss by taking holidays. However, complexity arises when you have a 0-hour contract, or any of your employee or worker have a 0-hour contract. This happens when you work in hospitality industry. But I believe we should stop this video here, and I will explain 0-hour contract in next video. Otherwise, it's going to a bit of much information. So in this video, we cover three major questions. The first one was, do your paid holidays count toward working hours? The second question was, are your paid holidays are taxable? And finally, the third question was how to calculate holiday entitlement, and in which we demonstrate with a practical example and taking hours. So stay tuned to understand 0 hour contract, which I will explain in next video. So until the next video, hand ahead, salute.